Alright guys, you guys clicked on this video for one specific reason, is that you want to get better at the Battlefront 2015 game. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know about this game, whether it's going to be shooting, movement, star cards, whatever you have, ask it in the comments as well and I will answer. If you guys know any tips, or maybe you want to ask for some tips or maybe some advice, I can give them to you. I'm going to review all the secrets that you might have not known in this game. So even if you are an intermediate player in Battlefront, you might not have known these tricks. It's not much, but it will help you fight against other players and have a huge advantage in combat. So I suggest you keep watching. It's going to be quite a long video because I will be very detailed with my explanation. I hope you guys like this, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the battlefield. Alright guys, step number one. What we're going to do is we go into settings, because if you play on the default settings in this game, I have bad news for you. It is not great. As you can see, the first options you notice, please turn them off. This is preference, this is your preference as well. What is important is the sensitivity in the game. You start with 20, I recommend you go to 25, and you stay between 25 and 35. You can start high or you can start low. If you want to start on the higher side, try to maybe go down 2 steps so you can find your perfect sensitivity in the game. For me it is 27. Next setting, this one is very important to turn this on, and I will tell you guys later why. Make sure to turn this on. Alright, what this does, it makes you swap on the touchpad either left or right or up, and it activates one of your star cards. Now I play with my button layout on alternate. That means the crouch button, which was original circle, as you can see, swaps to R3. That means if I click in my R3 stick, I can get down on my knees, I can roll around and do whatever, right? I recommend you guys to find the perfect crouch button for your own setup. As you guys know, you can go in the PlayStation settings and you can change your button assignments there. Also, what I did swap is the fire button. As you can see, it is on the trigger. I did swap that with my R1 button, the right card ability, which is right now located to the right on the screen. I swapped them around, that way I can trigger the burst weapons in the game way faster than the trigger. Next thing what we're going through is the video settings. Make sure your brightness is a bit on the higher side. Do use one of these colorblind modes, either yellow or either green. All what they do is to switch the enemy color of your opposite team. So as you can see, I have green and this one makes them yellow. The reason why we do this is because the map in the game is quite dark itself. And if you go and look at default, you can see a dark red color. It's hard to pick up enemies on the minimap if you look in the middle of your screen. I will explain it later as well. Audio, I recommend to have audio higher than 50. I keep mine down to 10. Music off, keep 5.1 and 7.1 surround sound. A dynamic range, keep it to wide because it's better for the modern headsets. If you go to gameplay, vibration off, light bar off. Make sure to turn button hints off, weapon hints and tutorial hints as well. EA account, keep these two off, and always keep your own region. Whether you're from American or European, pick your own region. It's very important to not have that on automatic. That was a quick demo of these settings. Let's move on to the next step. Alright guys, I'm gonna give you guys a tip of topic number 2, which is star cards and loadouts and weapons. I suggest you guys coming back to this part when you are level 22 in the game, because you will unlock all the cards that I will describe to you right now. First card that we go through is the Bodyguard trait. What this does, it gives you a damage reduction of all incoming damage to your character. It starts with level 1 up to level 3, and level 1 gives you 10% damage reduction against all incoming damage. Level 2 does the same, but it goes up to 25%. And level 3 also does the same, but it goes up to 50% damage reduction. You unlock this card when you get to rank 16. It costs you around 8,000 credits, and I highly recommend you guys to run around with the Bodyguard trade nowadays, as the servers might be a bit worse than it was before. A second star card that I recommend you guys to use is the famous Bak the Bomb. As you guys can see, I throw it down on the ground and I get a 30% extra health boost. Everyone around me gets the same. The way it works, you throw it against the surface, it could be the ground, could be the wall or anything, and you get a instant health boost up to 100%, let's say I'm 25%. And of course the extra bonus 30, which is very nice. Let's say if I'm getting shot at, or if I want to move around, if I hide behind cover and I need my health back immediately, throw the Bak the Bomb down and I get what I need. The Bak the Bomb is 3,500 credits. You unlock it by going to the HUD contracts after you reach level 12, and you can upgrade it for 8,000 credits. The default cooldown is 30, so not upgraded is 30 seconds, and upgraded is 25 seconds, and I highly recommend you guys to get this. In order to get this, you need 5,000 objective score. So do in mind, whatever game mode you play, whether it's cargo, dropzone or whatever, play the objectives. Second star card in the top 3, what I would use is the personal shield. I activate it simply by holding down the triangle for 250 milliseconds. As you guys can see, the shield gets deployed. I can do the same again and I can take the shield away. The shield has a damage reduction of, I believe, out of my head, 300 HP, but this is not tested, this is just a speculation, and it can only get more if you use the personal shield in combination with the Bodyguard trait. The shield will be stronger and will take more damage. Very easy with the shield. Why I explained to you guys to turn on the touchpad gestures. That means if I swipe up on my touchpad, my shield deploys 200 milliseconds faster than if I would hold triangle. Let's say if I swipe up on the touchpad, there it goes, it deploys. I can swipe up again and it deploys. The reason why we do it with the touchpad from now on, because it's what I highly recommend to you guys, do not use the triangle anymore, is it is faster. And there's a little secret to it. If I use the touchpad whilst I'm shocked, I can activate any charge card I want. Let's say you're playing with Adrenaline Stim or playing with Shield and I get shocked, I can use my card whilst being shocked. So that's a little tip for you guys to use the touchpad because it is faster and more efficient. You get the shield by reaching rank, if I believe 22. It costs around 1700 credits and it has an active time of 7 seconds. Cooldown is 20 seconds by default. So I highly recommend you guys to unlock that card once you reach level 22. Next card that we go through is the jetpack. The jetpack speaks for itself. I need to say jump pack because that's the name of the item in this game. Jump pack gives you a great maneuver ability in this game. Like let's say if I'm getting shot at, I can jetpack away. I can jetpack to chase someone down. I can jetpack to push someone as well. If I want to use the jump pack, it is very simple. I just go any direction I want and I click down my L1 button. For me this is L1 because I have it positioned on the left side. I think you unlock the jetpack at around level 13 if I believe. So quite fast. It has a cooldown of 25 seconds. It costs you 3000 credits. And my tip with the jetpack, do never jump straight in the direction of your enemy. Let's say an enemy is standing right in front of me. I do not want to jetpack straight back or straight towards them. I'm gonna give a quick demonstration. If I jetpack, I walk diagonal. And let's say if I want to go diagonal left back, I do this. That was a very quick demonstration of the cards. I hope that you guys pay attention to what cards you use. Alright guys, let's go in depth in the weapons. Topic number 3. The first weapon I recommend is the EE3. E3, you unlock it at rank 16 in the game. You pay 2,500 credits for the weapon. The damage is 21 to 12 per bolt. Rate of fire is 120 RPM, 800 RPM if you do maximum bursting speed. The damage fall off is 10 meters. It starts at 10 meters and it goes to an end drop of 60 meters. So make sure you keep your target in a medium range distance, but do not fear, the E3 is great at distance as well in bigger game modes such as Supremacy, Valkyrie Assault, Turning Point, etc. Cooling power is 23 shots, so 7 bursts in total. It can get you a cooldown of 2.72 seconds if you do fill the first cooldown. Muzzle velocity is 500 milliseconds. The reason why I recommend this weapon is it's fast, it has barely any recoil, and the time to kill is amazing. As you guys can see, by each shot it gives you 3 bolts per shot. If you trigger it faster, it can give you up to 7 bursts a shot, as you guys can see, and it is just great. It has barely any recoil. For distance is great, as I mentioned already. This is the best weapon in the game without a doubt. So if you guys do want to practice with the best weapon in the game, I highly recommend you guys to switch the R2 button to R1, so you have a faster trigger speed than the regular user, of course. Make sure to not shoot too fast, because some of you guys have an insane trigger finger. If you shoot too fast with this weapon, it might stagger, so there's a little bit of a rhythm to it. As you guys can see, I shot it quite fast there. You do not have to shoot it fast, but make sure you are accurate with it, because each shot takes a lot of damage. Little tip for you guys, do not jump around with this weapon. If you fire it, try to stay on the ground as much as possible. If you fire this weapon, the how do you say that, kind of the shots will spread around with this weapon and is not as accurate anymore. Try to stay low on the ground and you will see that you hit more shots with this weapon. Another little tip with this weapon, try to aim at the shoulders of the character. Let's say I move left or right, try to aim at the shoulder that is pointing the direction I'm going to. And let's say I move to the right, point at my right shoulder, which is our perspective, it's the left shoulder. If I move to the left, try to aim for my left shoulder, our perspective right side. There's a quick little demonstration about the E3. If you're not a fan of the burst weapons, then I highly recommend you to wait for the third option, which will be the E11. Let's move on to the SE14C. Alright, there we have the SE14C. The SE14C is great because it is a little bit of a bridge between the E4 and the E3. It has a 5 round burst, as you guys can see, 5 shots per burst basically. This weapon is mainly used for close range combat, let's say 12 player game, also blast. It might be used against the opponents. Let's say you fighting in chambers or whatever, tunnels, etc. This gun is great. For distance, I wouldn't recommend it for distance at all. It has a uncontrollable recoil. If you do shoot a bit faster, it will be hard to maintain the recoil. As you guys can see, the fire speed is a bit slower than the E3. It does great damage up close. I would highly recommend it over an E4, because you guys might think, hey, why not use the E4 for close range, right? The E4 gives you, first of all, disrespect. Second of all, it is not as powerful as the SE14C if you do manage to take control of the SE14C. Only downside about the SE14C is, as I already mentioned, the recoil. It's very hard to maintain on distance as well. Besides that, it's a great weapon. It does a lot of damage. It can outgun any automatic in the game as well up close, because automatics are more focused on a close range, medium range, right? There's not too many specifications about this gun. All you need to know is that try to get up close as possible to your enemy with this weapon. It does make a bit of a unique noise compared to all the other weapons, so you might have yourself surrounded by enemies quicker because they know who you are, your location, and there's a lot of people that do focus you in the community. Now, a little bit about this weapon. As you guys can see, the maximum speed if I shoot, it's about this. any tips about this weapon, try to start low by aiming at the legs of a user, because it will work its way up. As you guys can see, the recoil will just go higher and higher to the head. So I recommend to aim at the waist of the character. As I already explained, if I move to the left here, which is my right, then you guys will need to aim at my right thigh. If I move to the left, try to aim at the left thigh, kind of. So a little bit at the waist, at the thigh area with this weapon. I do not recommend any headshots with this weapon, as it's very hard to pull off. So aiming at the chest is not the greatest position to position your crosshair at first with this weapon. Let's move on to the automatic. If you're more fan of an automatic weapon, then we are going to move on to the E11. Alright. Now, last but not least, we have the E11 right here, fully automatic, quite small, compact, especially for the competitive players. This is a good gun to handle. We have this gun unlocked by default for the Imperial side. And if you do want to use it on the Rebel faction, you do need to be rank 8. It will cost you about 1500 credits if you do want to buy this gun. It has a damage capability of 35 max to a minimum of 15. The rate of fire is 300 RPM and the damage drop-off starts at 10 and it ends at 60. There's a cooldown of 2.72 if you fill the cooldown, and the muzzle velocity is 500 milliseconds. As you might hear, this gun has the similar specifications similar to the E3. It's basically the same at damage drop-off and at the muzzle velocity. Also, the cooldown is quite similar. The damage is a bit more than the E3 itself. That's why I recommend this gun on close range. It's easy to use. You hold down the trigger, it shoots for you, and that's all you have to do with this gun. Do pay attention though, as if you hold down the trigger too long, that the crosshair might spread apart and it can be difficult to hit your shots. That's why I give you a tip to use a sort of burst fire similar to the E3. Let's say I hold down the trigger for 2 to 3 shots, kind of like 2 to 3 shots or 3 to 4 shots. It depends on the range you are at. It will be very accurate if you shoot it in burst rounds. As you can see, a little demonstration. I basically let go of my trigger after a certain amount of shots. This way I stay on target, and my gun, the cooling chamber is quite cool as well. It doesn't overheat as fast as it should be. Yeah, as I said already, try to stay close with this gun. It will easily outgun almost any other gun in the game. Besides an E4 and a DH-17 you do have to watch out for. But this gun almost has no weaknesses besides it's spreading the crosshair. A little bit demonstrates about the E11. It's most famous for the competitive players in the Battlefront genre. So I would stick with the burst weapons in this game, but if you do not like the burst weapons, go for the E11. An alternative, what you can do is the DH-17 up close, but that is about it for my top 3 in weapons. Let's move on to the next topic. Alright guys, we have topic number 4, combat and shooting. I'm going to show you guys what is present on the screen. I'm also going to show how to take down your enemy as fast as possible and where to aim on the body or the torso. What you can see on the screen, we have to the left down 2 icons. I have a little small shield which indicates my trade level. You can see there's 3 little dots as well to the left bottom. That means level 1, level 2 and level 3. As I explained in the Starcard topic. As you also can see, I have a little line, like a little bar that fills up to I think 6. And every time I make a kill, as you can see, the bar will go up. As you saw, it just jumped a little bit higher and it is working its way up to level 2. Also, the minimap to the left down corner, as you can see, you see gray bright lines on the right side of the minimap. That means it's out of border, so I can't go there. On the left side you can see a little green indicator. That means my enemy is currently moving. As you can see, it just turned bigger. That means my enemy is getting closer. Now the moment if this gets bigger, that means you need to focus directly on the target. I would recommend, if this turns bigger, then instantly focus in that direction and drop anything else. Because the little block, that means they're quite far away and they will most likely not kill you at all. As you can see, you do not see anything on the minimap at the moment because my enemy is standing still. If my enemy walks around, you will also not be able to see anything because it's not sprinting. So only when my enemy is shooting, so let's say my enemy is shooting at the moment, then you can see the indicator starts to flash, starts to light up. If my enemy starts sprinting, it will also light up. So my enemy is sprinting, you can see that the indicator shows bright green. This time my enemy is close. Now let's say if I jump down to my enemy, so my enemy stands still right here in the middle. Then if I stay close to my enemy and my enemy is moving around in a sprinting manner or whatever, or shooting close to me, you can see the little circle around my arrow indicator on the minimap starts to glow bright green. Now let's say if I'm above my enemy a floor higher or a floor down, it still does not matter. That indicator will always light up if someone is close to your proximity kind of. Now I'm going back up. To the right, of course, we have the Starcards. As you can see, my jetpack is loading. I need to set jump pack in this game. It's currently loading, recharging. It takes about like 7 seconds. My shield is available and I have my bucket bomb available as well. Now if I use a Starcard, you can see it goes down and it recharges up. Self-explanatory. I have to the right down, I have the power-up slot. Let's say if I pick up any power-up in the map, you will see a little power-up. The way I activated is with the L1 and R1 button by default. As you can see, I have my shield as well to the right bottom corner, which I activate with either triangle by holding triangle for 250 milliseconds, or by swiping up on the touchpad to activate and deactivate it. Now, as you can see, I can swipe on the touchpad. I can even swipe to the right, it throws the buck down. I can swipe to the left, I will jump. I can swipe down too, and it will initiate my power up what I currently have. Alright guys, I'm gonna talk about the shooting aspect of the combat. As you guys can see, I have my crosshair in the middle of the screen. If I zoom in, it looks something like this. If I don't zoom in, it looks like something like this. The only moment I would zoom in, so use my ADS, is when there's a smoke grenade on the map. Like let's say someone throws a smoke grenade and someone's walking inside there. What this does, it kind of draws your aim towards the enemy. Now, if there's not the case, do not use the ADS function at all. Because as you can see, if I zoom in and I start walking, I will walk a lot slower. Now, if I release the ADS button, as you guys can see, I can walk way faster. So totally forget about the ADS function unless there's a smoke grenade somewhere on the map. Now, as you guys can see, I have my target standing there right in the middle. I'm going to demonstrate where to place the crosshair to get the most shots off on your enemy. Now, it's quite simple to aim in this game. All you have to pay attention to is to switch the shoulder. Now, let's say my enemy is a bit more on the right side. I look over the right shoulder. If I stand here, and knowing that my enemy is crossing the middle point, the center point, I'm going to switch to my left shoulder. Now, let's say if I'm in first person, like you can see the middle point. If I walk this way, I know my enemy is going to appear on the right side. Walk this way, my enemy is going to appear on the left side. So do know, if you move in any certain direction, look over the right shoulder. And the reason why we do this is because we will walk to this direction and I keep looking over the right shoulder. And if I want to go the other way, look over the other side, and that way I can just push my sticks to the opposite way and stay on target more than I would do is if I walk in the same direction with the same shoulder like this. It's like kind of an awkward angle. And I'm gonna show you why that is not good in a second here. I'm going to make my enemy start sprinting left to right. And then I will show you where to place my crosshair. As you guys can see, this is a very good example of me putting my crosshair on my target. I'm not directly on my target, but I kind of put the center point, as you see if I zoom in, a little bit in front of my target, right? And the first thing I do is I switch shoulder. Every time my target is running from the other side, if I know my target is moving to the left side, so appearing on my left, over my left shoulder, I'm gonna switch. The reason why we do this is because if I give you a bad example, now let's say if I look over the wrong shoulder like this, if I will start shooting right now, you will see that I will not hit my target at all. Most of the shots will miss, As you guys can see, this is a very bad example. I'm not hitting any shots at all. Like 8 out of 10 shots are not hitting. It takes a long time to kill my enemy. Now if my enemy has Bacta again and regenerates, I'll show you a good example. Like if I keep my shoulder over the right thing, I can put my aim in front. As you can see, my enemy dies instantly. So here again, the good example. As you guys can see, I'm standing right still. Every shot that I take hits my target. But that's a little bit too far. But I don't want to kill my enemies so fast. As you guys can see, this is where you place the crosser kind of. Like right here, as you guys can see. If I shoot now, my character walks in it. So there's a bit of an example how to switch the shoulders. You guys saw how to target a moving enemy that moves from the left to right fast by sprinting or either rolling. Because even if a target is rolling around, like left and right, you do the same thing with your shoulder. Now how does the aim assist really go in depth? The aim assist goes in depth if I put my crosser on the target. Like as I said, we don't do this. We use the hip fire. If I move left and right, as you guys can see, it stays active for 2.5 seconds. If I move in circles, my aim assist always stays on the target. I'm not touching my right stick at all. Now if my character starts moving or strafing left and right, so my enemy is going left and right between one block for example, then even my aim assist, if I move myself, it stays active for 2.5 seconds and I'm off target, right? Now let's say if my character keeps moving and I move in a circle, as you guys can see, my aim assist keeps tracking the target. And I'm not even touching my right stick right now and it still tracks the target. Now if my enemy is moving 2 blocks or 3 blocks kind of, as you guys can see, even if I start moving in a circle, it is not fast enough to keep tracking my target, right? That means if my enemy is going this way and then that way and this way, I kind of need to keep my crosser ready, right? That way, if I start moving now as well, when I have my crosser good, as you guys can see, my crosser still follows the target. And most experienced players that do this, because if you strafe in one block only, it's too fast, because I can basically keep my crosser kind of in the middle, as you guys saw, and circle spin, and I still hit all my shots. So if my character start moving in one block again, if my enemy start moving one block, then if I spin, like quick example, as you guys can see, I don't even have to aim. So that's why you always in this game you strafe left and right, which will explain it in the movement topic as well after this topic, and don't go too fast. Now the difference is with distance. If my enemy backs off close to the pole and my enemy walks a bit to the fountain, some enemies are going back in the middle there, then if my enemy keeps moving like that in one block, that means if we are further away, that you do the circle strafe. Now if my enemy is moving in 3 blocks again, and I still do the circular motion, as you guys can see, I don't even move my right stick, and the aim assist is tracking my target. And I'm really not even touching my right stick, all I'm doing is circling around. So that's why I also recommend, if you have a distance like this, so your enemy is quite far away, do the circle strafe. And if your enemy gets a bit closer, so like right here, then what I can do to kind of evade the shots, like it's quite easy to hit someone on this distance, right? What I do is I do a long strafe instead. As you guys can see, I'm doing a long strafe to kind of counter strafe. Like if my enemy is moving in 3 blocks again from up close, you can see if I move the circle, like it doesn't even track the target as good. That's why up close you start strafing with a longer strafe, like try to keep an indication of 3 blocks kind of. That way it's harder to hit your target, right? And also another tip is to aim for the shoulders of the target, move back in the middle of starting point. So right in the middle, like medium distance kind of. What I recommend is my target standing still right now, if I aim at the shoulders of an enemy, that's where I want to hit. Now let's say if I'm high up, for example like this, I kind of look at the thigh. So like either the right thigh or the left thigh. And let's say if my enemy is moving to the right side and it stops there at the grass, what I do, I put my crosser on the left shoulder, which is the enemy's right shoulder. Our perspective is left shoulder, right? When enemy moves to the other side, so move to the right side, I put it on the other shoulder. That's kind of where you want your crosser to aim. Because if I shoot there, I will make a headshot kind of, if the enemy is moving. It's very important that you don't aim for the head, but try to aim for the shoulder a little bit. Now that's kind of the combat topic, is not too much to it. Just try to always switch your shoulder. That's the most important thing in this game. As you can see, I have the shock grenade in my inventory right now. This is not a promotion to use it. This is simply to shock myself. I'm gonna show you guys why to use touchpad gestures instead of triangle. Not only gives it 200 milliseconds advantage, it also allows you to do this. If I shock myself right now, I can still open my shield. And I can even deactivate it once I swipe up on the touchpad. This is the only way possible. If you do try to use triangle, it is not going to work. So make sure your touchpad gestures are on in the settings, as I showed you guys earlier where to do so. And I can also showcase to you guys what it does to an enemy or even to yourself if you use stim. As you guys know, if you use the adrenaline stim, you become immune to shock grenades for a certain time. Now let's say I shock my enemy and he's going to use stim. And he is free. It was that simple. It didn't take 5 seconds, it took him 1 second and 300 milliseconds to be able to get free. Now there was a little demonstration of me giving you guys the tip how to counter the shock grenade. So yeah, that was the combat topic for you guys. Let's move on to the next topic. Alright guys, we have made it until topic number 5, which is movement. I'm going to demonstrate quickly how to move efficiently in this game, because a lot of people do not know how to roll properly in Battlefront. Now as you can see, I have the distance between me and this pole over there. What I'm gonna do, I'm going to try to roll with one roll only all the way to the right side of this pole. So, how to roll in this game? It's very simple. You click your crouch button down and you double tap it after. So like that means if I double tap my crouch button like this and walk to one side, I will start rolling. I'm going to walk to the left side right now and you guys will see me roll straight to the middle. If I move to one side and roll like this, you guys can see that my distance is somewhat between here in the middle, between this pole and here. I can do another roll, and as you can see, I made it to the other side of the pole. It took me 2 times to roll and it went pretty slow. So what you can do in this game is you can roll and jump. As you can see, I made it a lot further than the middle of the pole. I almost touched the other end of the pole. Now, this is quite self-explanatory. A lot of people know how to do this. It's very easy. Double tap the crouch button, double tap your jump button, and there you go. There's a little trick behind it. If I start rolling and lift up my thumb, this will happen. As you can see, I made it into the grass area as I didn't do before. I can go the other side again. As you can see, I made a way further travel distance than what I just did as well. And it doesn't look anything different than rolling and jumping, but there's a little trick behind it, because what I actually did was I lifted up my left thumb. That means the movement stick, what I control, my left thumb right here, I lift up my thumb, and that way I was able to get the momentum from starting position all the way to the other side of the pole. This way, if you lift up your thumb, you do not get any movement registered mid-air, and that makes you keep your momentum. I'm gonna give a quick demonstration of not lifting up my left thumb and lifting up my left thumb again. So pay attention. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do double tap rolling, double tap jumping, and as you can see, I will end somewhere here with the with not lifting up with not lifting up my left thumb. Alright, just watch. But that didn't go as planned, but I did a little jump, which is like an advanced movement thing, is staying on the ground, which you can do like a sticky roll jump, is what I call it. And you stay on the ground, but you still get the momentum of the jump. Now, it's kind of the same thing I do end here. I did not touch the grass. I can do it again without lifting up my thumb. As you guys can see, I get somewhat in this square, and I did not touch the grass. Now let me lift up my left thumb. As you can see, I almost touched the grass. There you go. That was a proper jump right there. As you can see, I went from the pole right here, and I lifted up my left thumb, and I did it again. Now, do you guys see the speed and the momentum I get if I just simply lift up my left thumb? Once again, without left thumb, I didn't lift it up there, and now with lifting up my left thumb, as you guys can see, I keep getting into the grass area all the time. It kind of depends on how good your controller is, because if you do have stick drift on the left controller, which means that I will walk automatically like this, for example. If I have that, it can get very hard to get this down, because you do not want any stick drift on your controller to get the most momentum in this game. As you guys can see, I'm touching the pole, and I'm even sliding a bit further. That is number one tip that I can give you. So if you already roll and jump, great to you, but make sure in mid-air to release your left thumb, to let go of the left thumb. Now there's other movement things which you can do with the rolling, which is rolling forward, of course, instead of rolling to the side. It's quite easy. What I do, I start sprinting forward, then I look to one direction, I roll, and then I look back in the middle, and I keep going the direction I want to go. So that looks like this. Run, look to the side, back to the middle, and roll forward. You can do it to both sides. You can either look to the right, you can either look to the left, but make sure you put your camera back in the middle. So let's say my perspective is there. Once again, demonstrating running to the side and forward. It doesn't have to be perfect forward, but it is just the way you can do it. You can also do it backwards if you are more advanced. It's the same way. You start looking to one side, but you do everything else inverted. Now, you do not always have to jump in this game. There's certain aspects that you need to stay low behind cover, such as boxes or anything, any objects you can hide behind. You do not always need to jump. For example, if I just do simply this, I roll from one side and I bank the other side immediately. So I start from the left side, I go to the middle, and I start rolling and go back. This kind of throws the aim assist off guard of your enemy. It's a bit of a weird advanced trick that you can do in the game instead of jumping. You can simply, like I can do to the other side as well, I can roll this way and instantly bank the opposite side. Now for movement, it's very simple. Besides rolling, what you can do strafing as well. Let's say I take 2 blocks right here and I go left, right, left, right. That is all what you have to do in this game. If I start doing this in one block, it also works, but do know if you wanna, it kind of depends on the distance that you are. Like, let's say someone is very close to me, what I will do a 2-block strafe, because it's harder for them if they're up close to me. Now, if I'm a bit further away, I can do this, which is like a 1-block strafe, which goes a little bit faster. And that way I can kind of keep my aim steady on the target that is far away. As I did explain to you guys in the aiming tips, if there is an enemy standing far away, what you do is you spin your joystick. Spin the left joystick and all I have to do is spin it. And not too fast, like just like a nice rhythm, you know, like as if I'm dancing bachata or whatever. if I keep my crosshair right on the enemy, the aim assist does half of the work for me. Like I said, if you strafe left and right, aim assist stays active for 2.5 seconds. So keep that in mind, guys. Any other movement tricks, what you can do is you can of course sprint side to side, right? Like if there's an enemy, what you can do if you try to get behind cover or something, try instead of just rolling to one side, try to first, if you have the time, turn, sprint, and then do a rolling. As you can see, I was like even bouncing back because of the momentum that I got. If you do that, you can get behind cover way faster. As you can see, I was even flying outside the screen right there. Make sure to always sprint if you can. And I will do this when you are like, I don't know, like above 50 HP. If you can survive 2 shots, right? Because we did see the damage output of most of the guns earlier. What I also showed you guys, that most of the guns do around 30 damage per shot. Now, very good tip. What you can do is buck that and then shield at the same time. It looks like you're throwing your buck the bomb through the shield. Some people have asked me like, hey, how do you do that or whatever. I could kind of consider that movement, but what is important with movement in your star cards in combination is that you know when to use certain cards. I kinda suggest you use the jetpack only when you're above 70 HP. And like I said, with jetpack movement, it's very simple. In order to jetpack efficiently, what I can do, I can jump and then hit the activation for my jump pack. So that looks something like this. As you guys can see, I'm flying away. What you have to do, you have to hit the jump and then the activation of your jump pack button right after. So almost simultaneously, that's the way you jump the highest in the game. Like I said, if there's a target, for example, this pulse a target, I'm not gonna jetpack straight, but let's say I'm gonna jetpack to the side instead, or like a diagonal angle. So movement wise, like as you guys know, what I would never do is I would never crouch. Do not sit down in the game, don't do that or whatever. Another movement tip is if I look over this side around the pole, like a wall or whatever, self-explanatory, look over your right shoulder. The other way, I look over my left shoulder and be ready to attack. That is the most important thing to do, is the shoulder switching. Another thing with the movement as well, if I want to switch my shoulder when I'm rolling, I can't. There's a small delay. If you start rolling, you cannot switch your shoulder. So make sure you approach you see an enemy going to the left, for example. I need to look over my left shoulder. Make sure to always do that before you start rolling. Make sure to switch as early on possible. Let's say there's this wall here and my enemy is forced to go to the left. Like let's say you want to strafe around and you want to dodge my shots. Then I know he's going to go this side. And if I'm standing here, for example, and if I'm shooting at him, blah blah blah, I know he's going to the left side. I mean, for you guys, right? And that means I need to look at his right shoulder. I need to aim there. That means I need to look over my right shoulder to catch him with the aim. And I already explained it to you guys, but it is very important for movement. So make sure with the movement thing, what comes looking at it, it needs to be muscle memory. I'm going right, over right shoulder, I want to go left shoulder. Even if this pole was far away from me, make sure to know what you're doing. If I know I'm going to approach this pole from the right side, look over the right. That is kind of what I give as tip for you guys. And as you guys can see, the character holds the gun in the right hand mostly. So that means you have the better aim in the right shoulder as well. So not too much to movement, guys. There's a lot of advanced tricks that you can do, such as like boosted jumps or whatever. I can jetpack, and once I hit the ground with a jetpack, I can start doing a roll, and the momentum will be insane. A lot of advanced tricks, but just keep watching, because I do not let anything go in this video. Alright, that was the movement things. Let's go on to the next step. See you guys.